Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul Channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And the people I thank have inspired me. Hope they can inspire you as well. And I will have links below this video to the sites there. Rabbi Shalom Arish, Rabbi Lazer Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rabbi Elon Anava, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rav Daniel Asore, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Asher, and Rabbi Yaron Reuven. As well, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link below to my first video, which explains what M.L.M for the soul means, what it stands for, and what I'm doing. So this is for Parashat Ki Tavo, or Savo, however you pronounce it, excuse me. And this is from the Tiferes Yosef from Rabbi Yosef Chesney. And I call this Pure Intentions. So Rav Lev Bakst Zatzal was a Rosh Yeshiva, Yeshivas Ateres Mordechai of Detroit. He relayed the following story. One time I visited a wealthy businessman on the East Coast to solicit funds for the yeshiva. To my dismay, the man refused to help us out. In explanation, the man related, I am sure you notice my picture in the paper often. There are two organizations that I'm heavily involved in. These two causes receive the bulk of my tzedakah money. Tzedakah is your charity. I am satisfied with what I support and thus do not feel compelled to support your yeshiva as well. I replied to the man, I understand your point and I am prepared to leave. But if you don't mind, I would first like to share a vort with you. I'll explain. I'll have to look up exactly what the word vort means, but maybe it's like a story, but there may be a different explanation, so I'll look that up and put that underneath. So the man gave his consent, and so I began. In davening on Rosh Hashanah, we proclaim that Hashem is zecher kol hanishkachot. He remembers all that is forgotten. What does this mean? Doesn't Hashem remember everything? What does it insinuate? Why does it insinuate that he only remembers that which is forgotten? The great Hasidic master, Rab Moshe Leib Sasever, or I don't know if it's Sasover or Sasever, it says Sasever, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, I don't know who that is. Anyway, offers a phenomenal explanation. He says that there are two types of people who do mitzvot are commandments. One does an act solely for Hashem's sake and subsequently forgets that which he has done. And the second type keeps track of all their good deeds and takes pride in his actions. He is satisfied from them and does not have a need to do more. The first type acts with pure intent, whereas the second one is more egocentric. When it comes to the Day of Judgment, Hashem only takes note of that which a person does and keep track of with pride. This is what we mean when we say that Hashem recalls all that which has been forgotten. Rav Leib looked at the Gvir is like the wealthy man, I think that's what it means, in the eye and said, I assume that you are part of the first group of people who don't keep track of their deeds. But if you tell me that you belong to the second group, I understand. So here he's kind of hinting to him. He's not telling him outright, but it's kind of like a hint. So with that, the Rosh Yeshiva stood up and began walking to the door. Needless to say, the man's conscience did not allow him to be part of the second group. He told the Rosh Yeshiva, come back, I will give you a donation. Very nice. So sometimes you have to figure out a way to speak to someone in the nicest possible way to try to relay the message that you're trying to bring across without accusing them or being negative, because they might not respond in a positive way. So it's not always easy to be, I guess, kind of like in the moment. I guess you have to ask Hashem for that help in the moment to say the right thing, so to speak. Okay, that's just something I'm just adding. So the parasha discusses the mitzvah of bikurim, that's giving of the first fruits. The Mishnah relates that the wealthy would present their first fruits in golden bowls, whereas the poor would bring them theirs in wicker baskets. The golden bowls would be returned to their owners, while the wicker baskets would remain by the Kohen. What is the reason for this discrepancy? I once saw a beautiful explanation. This is Rabbi Chesney saying, the Ashir, which means a rich person, takes pride in the presentation. Everything is placed in a regal golden container, and he is proud of it. Thus, the presentation is not wholly l'shem shamayim, meaning for the sake of heaven, as it is egotistic. In contrast, the poor man's basket does not arouse any pride. He is presenting it to the best of his capability, entirely for Hashem's sake. What is the result of these varied intentions? The rich man's bowl is returned to him as if to say, it was not given with the right intentions. You can have it back. In contrast, when the poor man presents his wicker basket, Hashem declares, your intention is pure. This present I will accept. all actions are not created equal. The purer the intent, the greater its value. So that's very important to remember. Do it with a pure intent. Do it l'shem shamayim. Don't do it because someone tells you to do it, or you have to do it, or you want covet for it, honor or respect or something for it. The best thing is to do everything l'shem shamayim. Everything that Hashem tells us to do is because He tells us to do it. That's why we do it, not because there's a reward or punishment, just solely for that sake, and that's the best way to do it. And I hope and pray that we'll all will merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.